Madhouse Podcasting Network.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Mask. We are here with John Villalobos, a.k.a. Cujo from Not Scary Farm, Ghost Town Streets.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Mm-hmm. How's it going?
Good,
Thanks
man.
for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
It's been a minute.
It has been.
I think the last time I saw you, we went to Rock and Brews.
We did, yeah.
When was that? 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when the last time was I saw you, dude. That's how long it's been.
I think maybe the year after, because didn't you host something? Shoot, I don't remember the place, but there was like food trucks, and I think there's a couple of scare actors that were sliding and stuff.
The Q on Sliders team is always do that event.
Okay, so that was the last time I saw you.
Okay,
yeah.
That was just before the pandemic. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Before everything just kind of went astray.
went to hell back.
For sure.
Thanks for coming on.
For sure.
So we're gonna get into your history of being a scary guy, and
okay.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with.
I'm a scary monster.
Yeah, we can start with how what got you into scare acting at Knott.
Well, my mom would take me, I think I was like around 10, 11. Yeah, we'd go to Scary Farm, and I've always been a big fan of Halloween. I mean, my mom is a huge fan as well. I think Halloween was my first ticket into that whole realm, that whole genre. So I was watching it, through my fingers at the time because I didn't know.
Wait, you mean the movie?
The movie gotcha. Halloween. Yeah, sorry. Gotcha. So saw that, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But every like I said, from like 10, 11 on, every year we'd go to Scary Farm, and she'd take me, and I just have a blast, man. Just seeing all the people get scared, run, seeing all like the talent from streets come out and slide, do their thing. And I remember telling her, like, yo, I want to do that. That's something that I definitely can see myself doing. And I remember her telling me, like, I'm pretty sure you love it. Just keep that dream alive. And, when you have the moment to do so, I'll help you do it. And so to end of high school, when I turned 18, I think it was 2006. Yeah, that was my first year. I went to go and apply. And it was towards the end. So I was like at the tail end. Maybe I had 2 weeks left. And then they threw me into TerraVision. And I remember I was at the back of the end of the maze. So there was like a...
What year was that?
It was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like what they call me, a rock monster. So I had like one of the camouflage suits.
Oh, okay.
That was just burning up, man. I was like... sweating, but it was a lot of fun. I met the first person I met was Cowboy, and he told me a little bit about the game, and he's like, just watch me, see how I scare, because you're gonna be a camouflage with myself and this other dude, Hightower is what they called him.
Hightower.
I believe his name is John. Yeah, they called him Hightower. And then so it was just us three, at the end, and I would watch him scare, a couple of times, and I mean, I had a hard time standing still because I would like instinctively want to move and just scare them. But by the time I do that, they're already getting scared from Cowboy, and so they see me move, and then it's kind of like I waste that scare. And I remember him saying, like, dude, you gotta stay still. Like, that's your job. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, how are you gonna get scares if they see you coming? It's like, stand over here. So I stand to like the right of him. He's like, we're gonna tag team, all right? So once I scare them, then you scare them back. So I'm gonna scare them. They're gonna head to your area because instinctively you're gonna back up, and then that's when you come and you do your thing.
It's called pinball, bro. Pinball.
Oh, well, sorry, pinball. Well, at the time I didn't know it's gonna pinball. So we were just pinballing. But the first couple of times, I failed because you'd scare, and then I didn't know what to do. I just moved and nothing would come out, and so it was a work in progress. But maybe by the next couple of days, that's when I started getting rhythm of things, and I really took to his direction, and so we started pinballing, like you're saying, pinballing, and dude, I just had a blast. At the end of it, I was getting confident, just doing my own thing, and it was a good first experience, man. And then who else did I meet? I met Strawberry there actually too. Yeah, Rick, and he told me all right, man, so now that you're in, I hope to see you next year. And then we kept in touch throughout the year, and sure enough, when 07 came, that's when I think oh my god, what's that maze, the clown maze,
C3.
oh my god, I forgot it. It wasn't C3. No, I think it was
C3 was before that.
C3 was I think it was that last year, 06, if I'm not mistaken. Then it was oh my god, what was it? KCK, Killer Clown College. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then I was in that one, and I was mainly in the front. So then this time around, I was able to kind of roam a little bit. So that was fun, getting the feel of picking out a target, going to them, or hiding between a sea of people, and then scaring the person that you want to intend to scare. And then tag team, pretty much like Dieterman said, pinballing with I think his Strawberry was one of the ringleaders there, so we would tag team back and forth. And I think he started to slide, and then that was kind of like my first introduction of sliding, because I would see him do it, and I was asking what are you doing?
Wait, I want to back up for a second. So when in 2006,
yeah,
when you're super green, right? You're struggling
super
initially.
green,
Super
exactly.
Green. You're struggling initially. What was it in your brain that, what switch in your brain flipped? It's oh, this is how it needs to be done. Was it something that you were consciously aware of, or was it a subconscious thing that just happened?
I think it was more consciously aware, because it took me time to kind of develop that skill set. And I think watching, like I said, Cowboy or even Hightower, just watching them pinball, or watching even Cowboy by himself, do his scares. It's I can kind of see more or less what he's looking out for, the people that are unaware.
Mm-hmm.
Body language, that's something that, I think some people have it instinctively, that you're saying you can just pinpoint it and get it. It took me time to understand, the body language and people coming in, peeking over the corners and trying to get a feel for the room itself, because they're coming in and out in seconds, right? So you just kind of have to
that's another thing too. You got to figure out your environment.
Exactly.
And work within that. I wanted to ask that question for any viewers that may be wondering, well, how did he figure that out? What changed and made him understand, what made him be able to get scares from getting nothing in the beginning to, it's okay, now my hit ratio is doing better.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And just work, like you said, working with your environment, working with the costume. I think my biggest thing coming out of it is just reading people, just seeing the people that, get scared. I think the difficult part was knowing the people that can get scared, but don't show any, they don't emote. So they're just walking in, I'm going to own the room. But it took me a minute for me to understand that those people are the people that want to get scared, or, you can go after them, and they're usually at the end of the night, they'll be oh my God, you made my night. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that
they're usually the ones that will scare easier, because they're putting on a facade. So they're more focused on that facade, on, okay, I'm act like I'm not scared and they won't scare me, and that, so they're usually the ones that you can get a good scare out of.
Gotcha. Yeah, and those are the people that kind of took me a while, because they just fly past, and I'm just gearing for the people that, are flinching, or, kind of tiptoe into the
easy targets.
The easy targets, yeah. So definitely it was a crash course, but I loved it, man. I loved it. And learning with, like I said, with Cowboy and Hightower, just watching them work, and because they'd been in it, a couple of years, it was cool, man. It was a memory I'll never forget, for sure.
And so you go from
different experience.
you go to the clown maze. How many years did you do clown?
I did KCK a couple of years. Well, the second year, which would be my third year, I was kind of bouncing back and forth from KCK to Cornstalkers.
What?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Because at first I wanted to try something new, like a new maze, and Cornstalkers is what stuck out. So I was there for the first half, and then I was bitching to the tally captain about going back to KCK because everybody else was there, like all the people that I was working with that year prior. And I think there was a thing with the mazes of like, oh, there's a battle between which is going to get the maze of the year. And I just totally went, you know what, I'm going to go with, with KCK because they're the people that, like I said, I started with, and I think there was maybe another year that KCK was going to be out, or I think that was probably its last year. A little hazy, but I ended up just finishing the rest of the run with them at KCK.
Cornstalkers smelled bad too as the ran.
Yeah.
Dude, Cornstalkers was rad though.
But
it was cool.
So bad,
It did.
dude. And what it was the fire retardant spray that they put on all of it.
Yeah.
It just put off a bad odor.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But it kind of put you in that environment though. I mean, whether or not it was the correct scent of the the corn or the hay, or all that fucking. It was a good majority. It was probably the burlap scent too. Because that's a pretty. It's a dirty scent. It just smells like
musty
dust and dirt. Yeah,
it's musty.
I remember we used it for masks, and it was just like it alone just made the studio smell like dust and dirt. It reminds me of how my son smells every day after school. It smells like dirt. This was like, oh, do you roll in burlap, dude? But
like, you get the like baby powder, just put it on a mask so you don't smell the next day. Yeah, I
think that's the reason why I liked Cornstalkers the most. Was it just smelled like you were just somewhere completely different, and it was and monsters were on point. It was a good maze. I loved it.
It was cool. I had a lot of fun working there, and I was like one of the scarecrows, and I was at a post towards the end, and
a scarecrow and Cornstalkers. No.
Yeah, right. I know, but no, I was going. I was like coming full circle where it's like, oh, I have to stand there and wait for people to come by and scare them, and then I was just like, no, I'm just gonna keep roaming, and I was happy to be at the tail end. So kind of like Cornstalkers where it ended, it kind of handed off to Camp Snoopy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I met Bizarre Brandon. So he was sliding around that end, and that's how I met him. So just kind of like be a nice, cool little tag team to hand off, and then just come back to the maze.
And then you went back to KCK.
And then I went back to KCK, like a
traitor.
Yeah, like a traitor. I know, it was so it was bad, but I mean that's where I felt like I belonged mostly. Yeah, because I had a lot of fun working with them the first year, and then having Big John and Jim just fuck with me with the chainsaws, Panhand, because I hated chainsaws, and I don't know how they got wind of it, but they did. So they would, come in sometimes towards like the end of the maze, or they'll like ask me to like, hey man, Big John and Patty want to talk to you a little bit. Like, wait, what? Why? It's like, yeah, they want to meet you, And so, like a dummy, I'd go out there. They wouldn't be out there for like, I don't know. They'd be hiding behind a trash can. Next thing you know, I'm looking around like a dummy, and sure enough, I hear chainsaws, and they come run up, and I just get freaked out, dude, like legit freaked. And I hid underneath a bench, and I just remember Panna just coming with the chainsaw and just putting it all over my body, just like, and I was like screaming, stop! And then he stopped, and I ran in, and I kid you not, dude, I was Nicole was there, and she was in the maze, and I was just like, like legit, like panicking, and oh man, it was worse. And then he just comes. That's awesome. I was legit like, like they came after me. And at the end of the night, man, Panda was just like, dude, I got you good, bro. I got you good. And I'm like, I'm crying, like, you did. And he just starts laughing. He's like, that's what you get. That's what you get. You should never tell anybody what you're scared of, because we're gonna come after you.
Dude, that spreads like wildfire, man.
Yeah, it's a trip. And just tell one person, next thing you know, it's like, what? Who's asking?
That reminds me of when we used to what we did to what's his name with the bride?
Kenny Klein.
Kenny Klein, thank you.
Twitch.
There you go. I almost said Tweak, but that's Jeremy. Yeah, Kenny Klein was deathly afraid of the bride. And they all tricked him, and she ended up giving him like a lap dance, and he was like losing his mind.
The thing was, like, we actually shrink wrapped him to a barricade.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and we asked the bride, it's like, hey, so we all know that Kenny's afraid of you. And she's like, yeah. I go, so we want you to strike fear in him. And we're like, okay, this is our plan. It's like, well, you do a lap dance on him. She's like, no, I won't do that, but I'll definitely come over there and get in his face and creep him out, right? So we grabbed the barricade and pushed it up. So he was right face to face with her, and he's like, no. Then we laid it down. She straddled him on the barricade. And
No way.
Yeah, we're looking at each other going, he's doing it.
It was funny.
And then later she goes, I couldn't resist. I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I had to. It was great. Like,
oh my God,
in Season of Screams, I don't know if you've seen it lately, but there's a clip in there where he's getting interviewed. She comes up behind him and he takes off running, and she starts chasing him down.
And she's I do remember that. Yeah. That was him. Okay.
Yeah. That was the best.
So funny.
Like she chases him into the fog, I think. Yeah. He's just like, no.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, that whole experience was just like, what? Because and then at the end of the day, it's nothing but love and the camaraderie, and just like, hey man, welcome. Like, thanks.
Yeah. So you really you did mazes for 3 years?
3 years,
So then it was like, what, 6, 7, 8. So 2009 was your first year on streets.
On streets, yeah. And I think that was the year too where I asked Greg. Forgive me.
The haunt
Craig,
father.
the haunt father, exactly. Because that was it seems like that was like the order of operations. You do your years in the maze, and then when you feel you're ready, you can ask him for like a shot on the streets. And I did that, and then he comes to me and goes, well, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we're going to start auditioning now for streets. So you're going to have to audition for us. It's like, oh, what? It's like, yeah, so come to auditions and we'll let you know. I was like, okay, great. But yeah, I ended up doing the auditions, and it was a lotut of fun, and I killed it.
And you got streets.
And I got streets, and I asked to be in Ghost Town.
Oh, that's cool.
No, yeah. Just kidding.
What? What happened?
You skated through.
I skated through, yeah, pretty much. Oh, jeez. I kind of slipped through the cracks. I was just like, squeeze away, hang in there. But I did the audition, and that was my first year in streets, yeah.
So talk about what kind of character you had when you decided to come out of the streets. Did you have something already in mind before you auditioned, or did you not think about it until, okay, I got a spot. Now I'm going to start developing something.
No, I think I always had the idea of being a werewolf for sure. After seeing a Spike and then Lucifer.
Wait, you were a werewolf?
Yeah.
This is actually serious. I thought you were like a rabid dog.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be a werewolf, but then I found that mask. Okay. Where did I find it? I found that mask at the Halloween club, actually.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, so this is kind of like a rabid, like werewolf, having like alopecia, just losing all his hair.
True.
That's funny.
Too soon. Sorry, guys.
Oh my God.
I had a spin in there.
Dang, it's perfect timing.
Yeah. But anyway,
maybe YouTube will flag us on that one.
Oh shoot! Probably gonna knock on the door, and then I'm in trouble. But no, I saw that mask, and I'm like, oh, that's the one. So I ended up grabbing it, and then so after I got the mask, they did some I had some alterations done, and it was by Misty, who was in KCK, somebody I met, and she customized it where, she ripped out the mouth open so I'm able to talk, put some goo on it, and then like kind of cut it apart a little bit and stitched it so I have like those laces and stuff. But she helped out with that, and the costume itself, I think it was just what they offered me, which is just a button up and
standard issue.
Standard issue, yeah.
Stuff. You still have that picture I took of you all those years ago?
Which one? I'm sure I have. Huh?
The one I took of you, I think it was in front of the hotel. We were like,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, dude, I still have it.
Okay.
I still have all of that stuff. Yeah, it's in my hard drives.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm forever gonna keep those.
Send them to us, or send them to me.
Okay.
Send them to my Jay Lee email.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send them.
I'll use them for the marketing of the episode. Yeah.
Hi-res.
I'm
For
actually
sure.
trying to find that picture, dude. Like, because I now that I think about it, I remember you posting it and you tagged me in it, and now I'm like,
You did.
okay,
Yeah.
did I repost it in my archives? But I can't find it.
I'm sure it's there for sure.
Yeah.
But if not, like I said, I can send it for sure.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun though. My first year on streets was great. Yeah. So to answer your question, Scott, yeah, I just kind of went with the werewolf because like I said, I was inspired by Spike, and then and it just kind of stuck.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, just being
You can barely see
oh,
it.
there it is. Yeah, I saw a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
being out there on streets, my first step onto it was just like, wow, this is the playground. This is all we have. And Ghost Town's a huge area, and dude, I was just having a ball. My first year, I was just pedal to the metal. And yeah, you were a tally captain, right?
2010.
2010?
2010.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so second year, okay.
Second
But
year
man-
was, yeah.
But yeah, man, I was just flying out of the rails, just sliding and okay, so even before that, sliding was, like I said, going back to KCK, I was seeing Strawberry slide. I asked him about it, and then he introduced me to that whole idea of like, oh, this is what, this is like the gear we have, this is what we use, which is, conduits and, metal like caps on your shoes, and then for the knee pads, he was saying scabs, and I remember getting those first, and so him and I would go to Chapman, right, and we'd slide on the rink, and that's how we would practice. And then my third year, like I said, because I'm going back. So my third year, when I went from Cornstalkers to KCK, I started to slide more, and then so the more I was doing it a lot more in Cornstalkers, because at the end, like I said, when it kind of does a handoff to Camp Snoopy, there was just a long patch of gravel that you can just run and do a nice little slide. And so Bizarre and I would kind of be sliding together, and I remember him saying like, "Oh, so how long have you been sliding?" I said, "Yeah, just my second year, dude. I'm still getting used to it." And it's like, "Well, keep going, and then maybe in the next couple of years, you should audition for streets and then get certified." So I'm like, "Oh shit!" So this is a whole new process. Like, okay, something to think about. So after that year was done, and I asked to be on streets. I had an audition, so I auditioned, and then when I got on there, I remember talking. Who did I talk to? I think I talked with Trish and Allie, because they saw my costume, and that was kind of like the introduction to like, oh, so who are you and what are you about?
Trish
So
is the wolf. The red
exactly, yeah. So, they're awesome, and I was chopping it up with them, and I told them that I wanted to slide and be able to do so. And so she was like, well, you got to be certified first, and you're going to have to go through the little test, which I got tested by
Me, Wade, and
yes,
Trish.
exactly.
Mhm.
And I passed.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't supposed to slide my first year on streets, but I did it anyway.
Why not, right?
Yeah, so that's like how that came to be. But man, I just remember the feeling, and everything kind of went full circle, because I remember at one point I got pretty emotional when my mom came in and she was like, "Who'd have think that you'd be here, years later, doing something that you said you're gonna do?" So that kind of just like hit me waves. I'm like, "Holy shit, that's right!" Like,
That's cool.
I met a lot of wonderful people, very talented, street talent, and even maze talent. Like, I learned so much from everybody. It'd be a lie to say that, like, I learned on my own. But no, man, everybody had a crucial part to play and teaching me how to slide, how to scare, what to look out for, and and it was a blast. Yeah, like I learned from Bobby and
drummer
Spawn, and even just watching what's his name, Jeff
Long.
Monstar.
Jeff Long, yeah, watching him, and then also Daryl too, Haystack, and that's how him and I got introduced, and then him, Adam, and who else? I think there was another.
Yeah, the big black guy. I can't remember his name in real life.
Yeah. They would always just hang out on the porch and then have people come by and then run and slide. And it's a trip just watching everybody, pick their areas and then just watching them for a little bit and kind of incorporating, what they do. But
our favorite
I had a blast.
Were the Geode Shop. The Geode Shop and Goldie's. Those were our favorite hotspots.
Okay.
Yeah. In my earlier years, our other favorite hotspot was the Square.
Oh, the Square? Yeah.
Yeah. Like my first few years in Ghost Town, dude, the Square was so fast.
It was fun.
Yeah.
What you guys would put like wax though too, right?
Yeah, we waxed the caps.
Yeah, we waxed
the caps and everything.
We got to a point, Daryl and I got to a point we just waxed the floor. That's how I got kicked in the face. I was waxing the floor.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we would get those big candles, those big candlesticks, the ones that would be like that had like the Mother Mary and shit, and
you could hold 2 hands.
Yeah, and you'd pull them out and you'd hold it with 2 hands and you'd just slide prone and you would just go back and forth and just cover the whole fucking ground. And that's what I was doing. We were waxing the area because we wanted to get some good slides in, and this little kid kicked me in the face. Little fucker. It was your first. It was your first year. It was my last year.
Was it really?
2006. Yeah.
Oh damn! But we never really interacted, huh?
Well, that's the thing. Well, you're in a maze. I never interacted with mazers. It was too good for them. I'm just kidding.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Like mazers. No. We loved all monsters. That was a total joke. No, and that's the thing. It's funny because you and I didn't meet at Haunt. We met through. I met you through Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
And we met doing the other thing that we loved doing, which was filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and
kind of
I
full
knew
circle, huh?
it was it's super trippy because I knew you were Haunt, but I never knew you were in Ghost Town ever. And then when I went and visited one year, and you were standing in front of me, didn't say anything. I remember this like yesterday, and I was talking to Scott. It was on the corner of the porch, and you were fucking standing there. And and then you started talking to me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And just kind of nonchalantly, I kept talking. I ignored you because I didn't fucking know who you were. And Scott's all, "Dude, it's fucking Cujo," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, who the fuck's Cujo?"
I remember that.
I'm like, "Who's Cujo?" I didn't know your name was Cujo. This was like a few years after you and I knew each other, and you're like, "Dude, it's John." I'm like, "Oh." I seriously felt like the biggest a-hole. I felt so bad. You're like, "What the hell, man?" After we did a little short film together, and it was like, and here, like
all
you,
that work, all the bonding.
I know, like you and I were bros, and here I'm ignoring you when you're standing in front of me in a costume. Go figure.
It's so funny, dude. When you think about that, it's like, are you serious?
That story was freaking great. But I never knew your character. I never knew your Haunt name because I didn't know you through Haunt. And then for me at that time, Haunt was irrelevant because I was doing the filmmaking, the photography, and then the CG stuff. So Haunt for me was just like, oh, I'll go and I'll see my friends that were there still and say hi and blah, whatever. I never interacted with anybody except for Scott and maybe 1 or 2 people outside. So Haunt for me wasn't relevant, and you and I never talked Haunt when we were with
Right,
like
right,
Daryl.
right.
All it was filmmaking. It was cameras.
Right,
it was
exactly.
all right.
Yeah.
so
That's just crazy.
So I did have an excuse. It was like, oh yeah, I remember when Daryl introduced me to you is when I think it was to help out with with my Ashley short film, right?
Right.
That's where we met. And Daryl was like, hey, I have a friend that can help us. I'm like, cool. The more the merrier. So that's when I met you. And he was like, oh yeah, he worked on it. I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't care. Like,
Well, just cross that bridge.
I'm like,
okay.
I don't care. Let's just focus on the filmmaking.
Right.
So that's a funny story. Anyways, that was a sidetrack. But so backtracking back to your Ghost Town years. How many did you do? How many years did you do?
I think total, like for let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think like 5 years. No. Dude, I don't remember. Oh, geez.
Were you there?
2012. Huh?
2012 was your last year?
Yeah, I think 2012 was my last year.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it was a short career, but it was it was fun.
6-year window.
Yeah.
What made you stop?
I got busy with work, to be honest, because that's when I started getting to film and doing a lot more productions, and I couldn't really have time because I know like they wanted you, for that whole entire season, and I know I wasn't able to, give my all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what happened, and after that, it just time went on and years passed, and I mean I miss it. I definitely miss it, but I knew that was it for me. And I had I know I made a cone, and I had all the monsters sign it before I left. I remember that. And I think I still have it. I have to find it.
That's awesome.
But it's there, yeah.
That's super cool.
So that's really bitching.
So going back to your character, when you got Ghost Town and you wanted to be a werewolf, did you create a story for it, a backstory to integrate with the haunt lore?
What did I say? I think what I had was very, very small. It was just like a scientist who tried to find like inhuman strength, like superhuman strength, and created this little this little concoction that he would inject himself with, and then it turned him into like a werewolf because he took from like wolf and different just different animals. But the thing is, the mask itself didn't portray that. It portrayed more of a werewolf that was kind of like decomposing a little bit. So
you had a little bit of a Bane influence.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So he was just making it so he can develop some type of like superhuman or another breed, and it just became like himself. And I know at one point I had a lab coat and I had chains. That was tattered.
The chains stayed with you for the entirety, right?
It did for the most part. Yeah, that was like the props that I would have. Yeah. That was just like, oh, that's Cujo. Yeah, so I'd have the chains and I'd mess with them, and that was pretty much it.
The thing is, like, you couldn't not notice who he was because he's a little scrappy, bald, rabid dog. I'm sorry, werewolf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was a rabid dog.
Cujo.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's where it came from. I don't
hence
remember
the name,
who gave me the
Cujo.
name.
Well, where did the name Cujo come from?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Shoot, where did it come from?
Probably because people thought you were a rabid dog.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember who started with that. I don't know if it was Paul, or like Spawn, or Bobby, or even Cassandra. It's one of those. But like, yeah, it must have been one of those three. It's like, oh, it's Cujo. You just look like Cujo because, like you said, it was a rabid dog, and I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I like the movie. I'll stand behind it.
Oh man!
And that's how that came to be.
So, wow. So 2012, you decide to. Go ahead. I thought do you have a thought?
No, because I was gonna say the funny thing is, maybe a couple of years ago there was another monster, like another talent that was in a maze, and I think it had like a waste, like a toxic waste type of vibe, and he had that mask. Toxicam. Yeah, so he had that same mask that I had. I was like,
Wow.
what? I was like, who's so it was a trip seeing it like in a different
That's the
perspective.
reason why you always get a custom mask from Jay Lee. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
now that I
I'm-
know.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I will commission you one for one specifically. That's just Cujo.
Let's redesign your Cujo mask.
For sure.
That'd
I mean,
be
I knew
rad.
about it.
That would
I
be
totally knew
super
about
rad.
it. But yeah, I ended up seeing that same mask in that maze. So I was like, oh damn.
That's funny.
John, he sculpted my last two faces, right?
The demon one, like the
The last two renditions of Pyro.
he sculpted it.
He
What?
sculpted them, yeah.
You didn't know
One
that?
was for Knott,
No, I
and the
didn't.
other one
I
was
actually
for
didn't
me.
know that.
Yeah, the other one was for me because we made a pullover version.
Yeah, we did a pullover. He wanted a pullover. I'm like, well, let's make one.
Yeah. 'Cause
What?
I
That's
wanted one
sick.
for slower nights, like Wednesdays and Thursdays. I
Yeah.
would wear it on that night.
The funny
and it looked
thing
as good
is-
as makeup.
The funny thing is, Bill in
Tim.
wardrobe,
Tim.
Oh,
Tim,
yeah.
Tim in
Tim.
wardrobe thought it was makeup.
Yeah,
No
and
way.
it's weird. Like I'm standing outside of Warehouse P, and I
Yeah.
have my mask on. I'm talking to somebody, and he's like, "Dieterman, how did you do that?" I go, "What?" He's like, "Your ears." I'm like, "What about my ears?" He's like, "They're burned on the top. How'd you do that?" I said, "Tim, it's my mask." And he's like, "What?" I go, "Look," and I showed him. He's like, "Holy shit! I thought that was your makeup." It was so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Damn, that came out really good then.
that came out really good.
Jeez.
I still have
That's
the
so
mold.
sick. Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Because I don't think I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I have it on my wall. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, you didn't have that mask, did
Yeah, I
you?
did.
You did.
No,
Okay,
wait,
so I
in
think I did.
2010 they put me in makeup.
Oh, they did put you in makeup. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
put
that's
this
the
on
face
wall
right
over
there.
here.
That's so
the
sick.
exact-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out good. This is actually the
Dude.
most recent one. We put
Yeah.
it. I put it on this new sock style mask, which it's this is actually a sock that amputees use. They put on their leg before they put the
okay.
actual amputee on. Because my kids had to get measured for helmets to reshape their head.
Gotcha.
I was talking to this guy, and he was, giving me like insights. He actually wanted me to do some 3D printing work for him, for to 3D print the feet. So we were talking about that, and that didn't end up going through. But he was like, he showed me that, and I'm like, dude, this would be so rad as a mask. And he's like, really? He's like, here. Gave me a whole crap ton of them.
What? That's sick.
Yeah, it's cool, but it stretches. The elastic ends up kind of loosening.
Yeah.
So it
Over time.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it
What we ended up doing is like initially we put it on spandex. So it was like a pullover with a hood, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, we got to change this. So we ripped the spandex off. We put a T-strap on it.
Yeah.
I still wore,
Gotcha.
I ended up wearing an Under Armour tactical hood underneath it. But
Oh,
it was
okay.
separate. And then I would wear, my do-rag or whatever. And I'd
Right.
wear that. So
And
it
cover
covered
the
be all
T-strap.
black. And on the T-strap, it was way more comfortable.
Yeah.
I could take the
Mhm.
mask off without taking the hood off.
Right. Okay.
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like
People
the-
like the T-strap better. So this one here has a T-strap,
T-strap. Okay.
and this one's actually a augmentation from a $5 Kmart mask.
What? That's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did a video on YouTube about it. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But that thing, you put a hood on that thing, go outside, it's vicious. I love that. I love that face, dude. I think
That's
it's
so
so cool.
sick.
That's my if I want to go out and scare people, I just quickly throw it on. So 2012, you decide,
Mhm.
you finished Haunt, you retire.
Right,
And
yeah.
then, so what did you start doing after that? Like you said you were working. Where were you working at that point?
At that point, I was working for the city of Rosemead, maybe until like 2015, 16.
Okay, so
I want to say.
So you weren't in the film industry at that point.
No,
Okay.
no, not yet.
So-
I mean, I was slowly kind of bleeding into it because then I was looking around for like schools that offer. Because at first I was interested in like directing and producing, which is funny.
Yeah, which is
Something
what
I
connected
just-
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I went to School Art Institute in North Hollywood and then got introduced to like director of photography, production design, editing, and that's kind of like an open a gateway for other avenues.
Right.
And production design is something that stuck with me mostly, like being able to build the worlds and kind of help tell a visual story with the characters and where we're at in the in the scenes. So I took to that, and then I ended up quitting City of Rosemead, and then went full-time to school at the Art Institute, and then just started going to classes. And then I ended up having to do a course where we had to volunteer for thesis films and be a production assistant. So then that's when I started to reach out, and I ended up getting in touch with somebody at AFI.
Okay.
And they were doing thesis films and they were asking for help. So I ended up going on that shoot, which was called the Rougarou, which was really cool because it started talking about like a Wendigo. So that was like a first cool thesis film that I got, introduced to. Yeah.
Nice.
It was pretty dope. That whole beast looked pretty sick too. Like it had that long snout. Something very similar to I don't know if you guys seen Antlers.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, so it had a pretty cool similar look. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, if you have time to spare, just watch it. But anyway, so I ended up meeting a production designer, and her sister Brianna was the key PA. So they're in charge of all like the PAs on set. We ended up chopping it up, and she said, "Hey, I like the way you work. I have a show coming up, which is called Lucha Underground." And she's like, "We're looking to staff. So if you're interested, let's, I can get you on that show." And so I said, "Yeah, totally, 100%." Like at this point, I'm like, I want to get on the show.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I have had this conversation, John. Because I knew you worked on Lucha Underground.
Yeah, we did for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was on that show for 3 seasons. Yeah, 4 seasons total. Yeah, so I was there for a minute. Couple of seasons I was there as production assistant, and then I started helping out with talent. And then my 3rd year I got into the art department, so then we started doing like set dressing and props and breakaways.
Right.
And then also we had I had a portion where I had to stand by on the ring, so anybody who gets blood on on the ring and whatnot, we had to suit up and then get on the ring and just scrub it out to our best, because the challenges were happening like every 30 seconds, so we had to like get in, do our thing, and then get out. So I was doing that for the duration of the run.
So you were like that little guy in Bloodsport who was wiping the blood and picking up the gold teeth and
for sure. I was, dude, for sure.
That's so funny. That's what that reminded me of.
A little Asian guy, a little Mexican guy.
Just come in, get on there, and just get a little toothbrush.
Like, ooh, look at this tooth.
Yeah, for real.
That's funny.
No, it was a trip, man. So I was on that show, and then from there just went to ended up working with who did I end up working with? From there, just worked with people from art department, just on commercials and music videos, and that's kind of like how I ended up taking off from there.
Cool.
So basically, where you're at now, the big start of it was you being into Halloween, moving into haunt, and then going to school and kind of capitalizing on that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how you mentioned it that way. It's just like you said, everything just kind of started from haunt and getting into that whole entertainment world, and it definitely led.
It all falls under the entertainment industry,
right?
Just in different genres and levels.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so now you freelance as a production designer in the film.
I did a couple production designer stuff for NBC, but now it's like mainly like set decoration. So I'm more involved with like the carpet or anything that's not built like on the set.
Okay.
Like the furniture, chairs, carpet, drapery. It kind of bleeds in with drapery and props. It's like a really blurred line. So it's like it depends on the production, I guess, and
Yeah.
and when I'm talking with the designer, like what she or he wants and what they're looking for. But that's what I primarily do mainly now. Yeah.
That's
So-
pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
dig it. Right now I've been working with two designers, Hensel Martinez and Brittany Porter. They do like music videos and commercials mainly. So working with them definitely kind of helped me navigate a little bit more with that position, learning the do's and don'ts. And I kind of definitely want to bridge out and work with other designers as well to see like their workflow,
Mhm.
but mainly just to get the experience.
Yeah.
And I kind of continue from there.
So is that something you want to stay in the design aspect, or you ever thought about getting behind the camera and filming?
I actually still want to continue down with that design aspect. I think getting behind the camera and filming would definitely have to be on my own time. Like I would have to definitely want it
Yeah.
and do it that way.
Yeah.
There's some times where I definitely would want to shoot something, or create something. But it's just finding the team and wanting the drive to actually, pursue it.
Yeah.
and do
I
it.
know
So
it takes a lot of work, but
That's
I
key.
didn't ask that.
yeah.
A lot goes into it. A lot goes into it.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, and you both know. You both helped me with Ashley, and
Yeah.
I worked on Ashley for 3 years.
Yeah,
so
From script to final
Completion, yeah.
Yeah, and after,
And the filming happened in 3 days?
we filmed it in 2 weekends. Well, 2 weekends and one evening, essentially.
Yeah.
We had
4.5 days.
So and it's funny because Scott joined us for one portion of the filming.
Yeah, the
and
tail
then
end.
John, you joined us for a different portion of it,
Right.
which is kind of cool to have you guys both on different ends of it. John, you helped with the green screen part, right?
Yeah.
With Daryl. With Daryl.
Yeah. Mhm.
Which was a lot of fun. So
It was cool.
It came out cool. I think it came out pretty cool for
No, I
the
liked it.
first
I definitely did.
first freaking film ever, and we completed it, and that's the key. Is completing something. You and I did something together. We did in like less than a week.
Alone.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
And it's,
he was the little creeper that slammed the door.
You were the creeper. And it's
Bam!
fun. It's funny too because that's the thing that I always appreciated about you, John, is you were always down. Always down.
Yeah.
And same thing with Daryl. I was just like, hey, you guys want to film something? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at your Burbank house,
And
Jeremy.
same thing with Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at Burbank. Yeah, same thing with Scott. He's always down. It was cool. It's cool to have those kind of people around, on your side because, when you're trying to get shit done, you need people, especially when filmmaking. You can't do it yourself, man. It's almost impossible to do something decent.
Right.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the Coke, you didn't you didn't do the Coke commercial with us, right?
No,
No.
he didn't.
Yeah, but
It was
I think
you, and Daryl, and I think Richard was there too.
was Richard there?
I don't know.
don't
I was
think
eating
so.
donuts with a fat white guy.
Richard. I don't know. We'll have to look at the behind the scenes.
I just totally bagged on Richard. My bad, Richard.
But it was the same
In case
thing.
you're watching.
But it's just like Bill, who played the dad in Ashley, and who played the the lead in the Coke commercial. He was down. I could call him up. Hey, dude, you want to do something with me? Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
Super nice guy too.
Yeah, super cool. So I mean, it's good to have those kind of people around you. So you saying you need to have that drive, and you need to that makes that hits me hard because like out of nowhere I just lost that drive. I just didn't want to do filmmaking. I didn't want to do photography. I didn't want to do any of it.
I think honestly, like losing Daryl definitely contributed to that on my end because we'd always have conversations about like ideas and stuff to shoot, and I know we did a couple of short stuff with one another, and he was, like you said, he's the only person that I can say that was always down to shoot, and every time he hit me up, hey, I got this idea, let's plan a weekend and shoot for a day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down. And so he kept that fire ignited, and
He totally
Yeah.
did. No,
I
he
actually-
totally
because
did.
he was
I
all
helped him
about
with
it.
a few of those grain of salt production
Mhm.
short films he did. Like I did a few of those with him. Those were fun. A few hours, like maybe you basically shoot in one day type of thing, and maybe like 4 or 5 hours and done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
always doing stuff like that.
because I remember, Scott, we did also a pickup sticks kind of
Yes.
contest, right?
Yep.
When you were like the
Dude.
devil. That shit was
I
sick.
love that. I
Yeah.
still have that. I still have that
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so cool. That mask came out really good too, but like the finished product, yeah.
That's
It was a lot of
CFX
fun.
mask.
Yeah, that was kind of the same for me. It was like, going through all that with him at the hospital
Yeah.
and him passing. I was like, you know what? Like he and I vlogged, a lot together. And I was like, I'm going to push my vlog more, kind of do pick up like the stuff that he was doing. And I wanted to keep pushing it. I wanted to keep going, doing it for him. And I just didn't have it because I knew at that point I couldn't call on him to do things with me anymore. And it's just like,
Yeah.
and I think it slowly died out from there. And I was just like, fuck it, and then having kids, it kind of just added to it. So I'm slowly picking it back up now. I'm just like, I'll do stuff here. I went and did a shoot with Story Films. So we did this open shoot out in LA. And
I think you saw that, John, on the Queen Mary Slider page.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it was cool. Got to go hang out with everybody and shoot, with a bunch of people, and it was inspiring again.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was, so now I'm slowly started like getting something back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had about 200 people turn out for that.
Yeah, it was dope.
Wow.
That shoot, yeah.
Yeah,
that was our first headliner shoot with him, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. You want to do this? We got to go to a different location.
I wasn't crazy about the location, but it was fun. The photos came out.
It was kind of a hassle to get to. It was like a mile walk from parking.
For me, it wasn't the walk. I actually didn't mind that. It was just, for me, it just didn't feel like a place to shoot monsters.
It was a big open area, and that's what we needed. So yeah, it wasn't dark and
didn't have like the atmosphere or like the setting.
It's like a dam.
It was a dam.
A river
It was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the sun started going down, it started to become a little better, but it was challenging for me to get some decent photos. That's why I shot a whole crap ton and I only edited a handful because I just wasn't happy with any of the photos.
It's an iconic dam. It's been in so many music videos and movies.
Yeah.
So
I
think they filmed part of Italian Job in that dam.
Yeah, the dam's dope.
Okay.
Yeah, the location's super cool.
Yeah.
But I just did. For me, it was like monsters in the dam. But it wasn't clicking for me.
It didn't.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, but I think it would. One because like the fire people started coming out. They started doing all the fire things, and I got some sick photos doing that.
Yeah.
Which made sense because it made it dramatic. But other than that, I got a couple good ones of Lucifer. But
he came out.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we got him to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was fun.
That's so sick, man.
Yeah, but it was
like,
cool.
The funny thing is that it was only set up for 4 hours, right? And towards the end, when the fire people started coming out, is when it started to get dusk, and then the cop helicopter came out.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And it wasn't about us. They told them they got to put the fire out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about us. I guess they got called for people doing graffiti. So because there's a bunch of people there, they thought it was us. And then I actually talked to the cops there. I was like, yeah, we got a call for graffiti. He's like, you guys are actually fine.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, we're wrapping up anyway. And they're like, all right, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
So they were cool about it.
Yeah.
But it's it was a big location to suit the size of the group that we felt we were going to get.
Yeah. So what are your
now back on John?
Yeah. So we'll edit all that out. So what do you plan? What are your features? Like, what's your angles with your career and everything?
If you can tell us.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm still, I'm honestly still trying to figure it out, to be honest. I mean, I got into 44, local 44 as a property. So that's cool. May just like focus on some features, see if I can get my, you know, my name out there and just travel and work on like I said, work on those features, and then I'm totally down to continue down like the path of set decorating with the people that allow me to have that role. In terms of like designing, I'm interested in doing it. Right now I'm picking up Blender. Like the little tutorials. I don't know if you guys seen it where it's like do the donut or like all that stuff. So I gave it a shot on that, and so far so good. I have to send you what it looks like later, but
so why
that's what I'm working on.
So why Blender for design?
Oh well, I feel like it has a lot more avenues to take, like incorporating VR. Like it'd be cool to design something and then have like a VR aspect of it where I can probably show clients like, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is a space, pop in that headset. That's just kind of like when I get to that point.
So why don't you just use Unreal?
Unreal? I've never actually worked with the program. Don't know anything about it.
Blender's great. Don't get me wrong. Blender's great if you want to do custom assets, if you want to sculpt some characters and stuff. But if you're doing strictly design work, and you just want to focus on the design, and you want to do VR and show it to your clients and all that stuff, just go into Unreal. Just use Unreal. Yeah, because then you can connect the VR headset to the Unreal camera, and you have the Unreal scene, and then you just build out your set. You can use pre-existing assets. You don't have to make the assets. You use the pre-existing assets and textures and everything, and just design.
Gotcha.
Okay. And you just use Quixel. Quixel has all the assets, and build your little room or your set or whatever it may be, and then you just go from there. And it has all the lighting. Everything is all like it's all real time, dude.
Yeah,
all real time, and it's beautiful. So like if I can suggest anything, is go straight to Unreal. It's free. And you can connect all kinds of stuff to it. You can use your phone as a camera in Unreal and film shit. Unreal's that's the way to go. I've been learning Unreal for the last few years.
Gotcha.
And now working with the big A.
Gotcha.
And, doing a lot more VR stuff, and so learning it is just beneficial,
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely take a look into that, because I mean, Blender was just introduced to me by my peers, and like, oh, Blender's, didn't know much about anything other than that program.
I mean, to give you the insight, like if you can't do sculpting and any real major modeling in Unreal. That's where Blender, Maya, C4D. That's where they all import. Come in. And animation. A lot of people are more comfortable animating in Blender and Maya and all that, and then you just export the FBX and bring it into But
Unreal.
For designing purposes, you like I do all my previs stuff, all of it. I do in Unreal, and a lot of it is strictly Unreal. I'll just be straight Unreal only. I'll use Maya to maybe block out the set or do some like major, blockage, and then export that, and I'll know like scale. I'll get the scale from that, my major block out, and then I just start building with the assets from Quixel. And yeah, because the ones from Quixel are detailed, they're textured, and then all you have to do is set dress, and then light it, throw in all your cameras, and just start figuring out all your compositions and camera moves, and then you just export all that out, and then you just build the edit from there.
Oh damn! Okay,
yeah, dude, it's dope. Like, dude,
it's a game changer.
I mean, it is a game changer ever since the pandemic. The pandemic really kicked it tenfold because
Yeah.
they started figuring out like, well, we have to film these shows. We can't go on stage and do all this shit. We can't have a lot of people on stage, and we don't have a lot of budget. The whole Lucasfilm and Mandalorian. They're like, well, we don't want to blow our budget on CG, so they developed. Well, they didn't, but somebody developed the virtual production concept. So
where they design and they have that screen.
And they use Unreal, yeah. So they use Unreal, and they build the world in Unreal, and then they project it on the screen, and then they film it. Bam! No more green screen.
Crazy.
It's fucking.
Yeah,
it's insane. It has like.
It's funny you mentioned that, Jeremy.
Why?
Because when I worked on the Paramount lot, I saw a big screen that was projected like that.
Yeah.
It's all lit up from the back.
Yeah, they're LEDs.
Yeah, it was sick. It was huge too. It was probably 25, 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was insane.
It's three panels. It's three three. It's I guess you would say a back panel and two side panels, and then it's got a
dome shaped. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got they're kind of dome shaped, and then you have a top panel.
Yeah.
Depending on what they're going to do. But they have a top panel, and that basically lights, for the most part, lights the stage. It lights the actors.
It gives
and
the
then
effect
and then they give additional lighting when needed. And then they just, and in fucking real time, dude, they can spin the damn camera in Unreal and completely change the set, and then all the lighting changes. It's like, it's real-time HDR, it's real-time backgrounds. It's amazing. And it's cool because when I did the stuff for CBS in 2020 during COVID, the job I was working on was a virtual production job. It was for that show. It was the continuation show of God, what the fuck is that show called? I forgot the name of the show. Some TV show is stupid. But I had to build the set. I had to build this whole town in Georgia, this whole courtyard. So that was my job, is to texture, light it, all of it, so they can then take that set for post production, and then use that for the close up shots, and then for the wide shots they used the Unreal stuff. So everything I built in Maya, we ported it, or we had to match it in Unreal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was cool.
You just got a history lesson, dude.
I did, and I'm going to take it with me.
Get Unreal, dude.
Granted, this is probably all going to be cut out, but
I'll keep it in for anybody. I mean, because this is actually good information, and this correlates to you too. So I'll keep it in there because I think everyone needs to know that anybody that wants to get into visual effects or CG or anything, this is the future of it.
Right.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And I think too, for like designers, I think they would have to know a little bit of it. I guess you kind of have that language.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I would like to go for sure. But that's it right now. I think, like I said, I'm just my path is to work on some films. I definitely want to work on features so I understand like the language, the lay of the land, how sets, like how big blockbusters work.
Right.
Because I feel like they definitely have a different workflow from that of what I've been used to.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, exactly. But do that, and then just find my way, navigate through. Like, I'll definitely take a stab at Unreal and learn that, and just kind of go from there for sure.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Well, good. I wish you luck, man. If you need any Unreal help, let me know.
Oh, for sure. I'll be hitting you up. Yeah.
We can.
And
we can Zoom and play with it together, and show you some stuff, and I'll actually send you some YouTube sites that are really helpful on learning it.
Okay.
Too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I definitely would take a stab at it.
Cool, man. All right, brother. Well, it's good talking with you, man.
Oh yeah, no, thank you guys again for having me.
Yeah,
good talking with you guys,
Good to see
catching
you
up.
after years.
Yeah, for real.
Do you want to plug your social medias or anything?
Let's see. Do I have any social? The only social media I have is Instagram, which would be like I plague I. That's it.
I don't know.
That's my
what
handle.
the hell that is, but
Plague.
you can't be found.
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
mysterious.
very, even when I know it, I can't even find you.
Yeah.
Like, where is this
Faustus Willie? What the hell?
Faustus Willie?
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to have a
Faustus.
conversation about what this whole Willie thing is.
This whole Willie thing. Well, it's actually my name. I was born with my birth name is Jonathan Willie, which I'm
Birth
which
name?
I'm
What are you from
Yeah.
Mars?
from Mars. Yeah. No, it's on my birth certificate. It says Jonathan Willie,
Gotcha.
and then my mom married, and then it became Villalobos, and now I'm changing it back. I'm actually in the process of changing it back to Jonathan Willie.
Gotcha. So is
Yeah.
that your
Change to
professional name?
Faustus Willie.
So that's what it's going to be in the
Gotcha.
near future.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks again for talking with us.
No, man, thank you
and,
guys.
everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we did filming it. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button and share and
Hit the like.
hit the notification.
Hit those likes.
Yeah, and get those likes out there. And we'll see you in the next episode. All right, guys.
Ding.
Peace.